Hello, Dodger fans. Welcome to another edition of Dodgers Wrap 360. Dodgers, they kind of come up short today, and the late rally follows short, so they end up dropping 2 out of 3. Arizona, we'll look back at that. We'll look back at the All-Star game, and we'll look forward to the rest of this road trip tonight on Dodgers Wrap 360.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
What's up, Dodger fans? We're coming in kind of low today because the Dodgers dropped 2 out of 3 to the Arizona Diamondbacks. The Diamondbacks, yeah. They are. The D-backs, they are last place in the NL West, and the Dodgers dropped 2 out of 3 with them. Not the way you wanted to start off the second half. We got in the house tonight Josh Gershon, we got Hunter Marks, and I'm Mike Conley, as you know. Thanks for tuning in for another edition of Dodgers Wrap 360. Tough start to the second half of the Dodgers, boys. You know, and especially starting this road trip where we're going to have some tough teams coming up here. This was the series you wanted to get.
Yeah, and they almost stole it today. They almost came back. It was nice to see some resilience there, even though they came up a little short.
That's true.
Good Kenta, bad Kenta. We talked about this before. He has a great game followed by a not-so-great game.
Yes, and he certainly had a great game in his last start, so he was due. Yeah, it was one of his worst, probably 3 or 4 starts this season. He gave it the big bomb to Lamb, but, I think they kind of dropped in a few singles on him here and there. And, I don't think he pitched that badly as maybe the score shows, but hey, what are you going to do?
There was a silver lining for this game, as Josh said, the resilience. Nice to see them down but come back after 7 innings. Nice to have a little punch, especially when it's not looking so good.
Yeah, absolutely. That is a good showing of a team, to have that kind of comeback attitude.
Yeah, it was. Turner still crushing the ball.
Crushing.
Puig's been hitting great since coming back from the DL.
Yeah, he's over 300 since he came back from the DL, and it seems like he's having better at-bats, but then when those at-bats need to count, like crucial at-bats, like he had at the end of the game today and at the end of the game Saturday night,
he's still Puig.
Is it a lack of focus, do you think, or is it just like, is he just...
I think it's hero complex.
Okay.
I think he pushes so hard to, I'm going to win the game, and, just...
He wants to be the man, which you want to see.
Yeah, you do. It's like, he does step up. He's like, I'm going to come to this play, I'm going to come to the plate, and I'm going to smack it. It's just that he gets out of his rhythm, gets out of focus, and it just, he turns into the old Puig.
Yeah.
But he has been great since coming off the DL. He really has. As far as, the bat's coming alive.
Defense is outstanding, seeing the ball better, hitting the ball better. All good signs.
Yeah, it's just that what you're saying, and you hit the nail right on the head, Joshua, when you're saying it. It's that he does have a hero complex, because, and Oral kind of touched upon it in the game today when Puig was up late. He's like, I hate to see the big swings here. Mm-hmm. It's a situation where you got the tying run at third with less than 2 outs. You got to shorten up that swing.
Yeah.
Fly ball to the outfield ties the game.
You just want contact. Just solid contact off the bat. You don't need the home run.
No, you just need solid contact off the bat. And sure, what does he do? He Ks.
Yeah.
Do you think Roberts is talking to him about this after the game, having a one-on-one, just having better at bats? Or,
I think he's, it's kind of a fine line because you don't want a guy who's like a tremendous talent getting in his head too much.
You don't want to micromanage too much.
Yeah, well, and especially with him where he's just such a raw, a wild horse, as Vin calls him, it's just like, you just want to leave those wild horses unbridled because of what they bring, and you don't want him thinking too much, you want him to react. But that being said, you do want to make him smart baseball plays. There was a play, I think, last week where, I forget, he made a bad base running error.
It was Friday he made a bad base running error.
And Gonzo was talking to him in the dugout afterwards, and it's just like there's those that come in now and again. Yeah,
Friday he drove in 2 runs and then got thrown out at second, trying to stretch it at second.
Yeah,
and I think that it killed the rally, killed the inning.
That wasn't the one I was thinking of. I think it was before the break maybe, but that one it wasn't too bad, because that was in an instance where you kind of want to draw to make sure that throw goes to second to make sure both runs score. So that wasn't terrible in my eyes, but he does make some terrible plays now and again. But, especially with Kershaw on the shelf, you got to like where the Dodgers are positioned right now because, the San Francisco had that ridiculous stretch of 55 games where they went like 40-15. It's like their best stretch of 55 games in like the history or something.
That's not going to happen again.
Right. And so that's why, we talk all the time about how 162 game season is a long season. So there's going to be peaks and valleys. So you hope, as a Dodger fan, that San Francisco, maybe had their peak too early.
Well, especially because I am not a Samardzija fan, never was. I couldn't believe the Giants paid him what they gave him. And now you're seeing him be Samardzija.
Right.
Giving up home runs, you're seeing him struggle, you're seeing him, this is who he is. Like, he's been in the league long enough that this is just who he is. He's going to have a high 3.4 ERA. He's going to give up a lot of home runs. Yeah, he'll strike out guys. But I wasn't convinced that this pitching staff was as strong as all these all the experts,
pundits?
all the pundits claimed at the beginning, and their bullpen is really struggling.
I don't claim to be a pundit, just so you know, Joshua.
So, the Dodgers, even despite their struggles, what Hatcher gave up that 6th run today, and Jansen blowing the save, they still have the best ERA in baseball, the bullpen.
Yeah.
So,
and what's surprising is, and if you look, I saw, I think it was during one of the telecasts, so maybe it was right before the All-Star game, that since June 1st, they have the highest, the best bullpen ERA, and they were second in innings pitched. So that's something, if you're going to overtax these guys, then, a downturn is coming. And so that's like where I look at, we're talking about the peaks and valleys of the Giants and how they're doing. Dodgers are going to be kind of in store for their own peaks and valleys. And so this bullpen, which we thought was horrible, and now they're world beaters, they're probably neither. They're probably somewhere in between, and they're going to kind of regress to the mean here in a while. And it'd be nice to have the starters going longer.
Unless, because we talked about it a little bit before the show, Friedman kind of treats everything like a fantasy team. So unless all of a sudden we see Cotton, we see De Leon, they're pitching Urias out of the bullpen right now in AAA. Unless they don't have a regression to the mean because they keep bringing up different guys. They can't regress back.
That would be good. That would be good.
It's really going to come down to Honeycutt really managing the bullpen like we discussed, and hopefully recognizing that these guys need rest and resting them appropriately.
Yeah. Well, he just gets them ready. It's up to
can only give so much.
Roberts to make the usage happen. I think he's been pretty good to it to this point.
I just don't want to see them burn out Libator.
That's
key.
Yeah.
That is key. We need him as our setup man.
Yeah, right now he is by far our best setup man. So he has how long? Can't remember how much the most innings he's pitched in a season.
I don't know, but he still is like manageable. I think he's around 30 innings pitched right now, to this point. And that's kind of manageable for a reliever. If you can keep a reliever around 60 innings, he could probably be effective at that. It's just when they get to 75, 80 innings,
that's
unless they're unless they're Joe Blanton, then they can't really.
Or Wade Davis on the Royals.
Yeah.
Former starters who are a little used to going more innings.
And I'm glad of the emergence of Blanton because I hate to burn a lefty as your setup man because then you're kind of you might have a tough lefty coming up in the 5th or 6th, that you need to get out, or even the 7th, and maybe you're hesitating going Libator if Blanton's not available because you want Libator as your, and then you maybe put J.P. Howell in to face somebody that he probably shouldn't be facing, and that's kind of the bugaboo with only having 2 lefties in the pen, So it'd be nice to maybe add a 3rd lefty in the pen. It's amazing how big pens are these days. They were saying during the telecast that the Diamondbacks were carrying 10 relievers for this series.
Wow.
Jeez.
That's why they're the Diamondbacks.
Spend all that money to be in last place.
Oh yeah,
but they do have Greinke.
They do have Jake Lamb, who absolutely tattoos the Dodgers. He's hitting an OPS over 1,300 versus the Dodgers in 9 games this year. He had big homer today, and then Saturday night he drove in the winning run. Yeah. No, the tying run.
The tying run off Jansen, yeah.
That's right. And then he scored the winning run in the 12th.
So Goldschmidt, I remember earlier on the show we talked about it where last year I'm like, God, I swear I saw Goldschmidt hit 10 home runs against the Dodgers. And he did. He hit 14 against them last year alone.
Wow.
And it's just Goldschmidt's another one who just kills. I remember in the old days, since we've been going for so long, Mark Grace used to be like that. Mark Grace had in his career 600 at bats against the Dodgers and hit 350 against them. He just crushed the Dodgers. Just some guys just, crush them.
The Arizona's really been kind of kind of a disappointment this year. As bad as we've been in the as hot as we were in the Dodgers early in the season when they weren't playing that great. It's like could be worse. Could be a Diamondbacks.
Well, they're
fan.
one of those teams that were making a lot of moves in the offseason, signing guys to big free agent contracts, making trades, making moves. And we thought, is this the year the Diamondbacks are finally going to move up in the NL West? And it's not looking likely.
No, because and I hear you. They made those moves. They have that. Lamb is emerging finally as like the guy they thought he was going to be, so it's good they showed patience with him. So they have like a really good 3-4 punch with him and Goldschmidt.
And they lost what's his face, Pollock at the beginning of the year. Yeah.
So that was going to be a good middle of the lineup.
Yeah.
So they've been injured. They have another guy, David Peralta, who's been out with injury, a good outfielder. And then but really what's let him down is that starting staff because Greinke's obviously on the shelf right now, and he kind of had a tough April, but kind of adjusting from going from a great pitcher's park to a great hitter's park. But then the whole trade, the ransom they gave the Braves to Shelby Miller, and he got sent down to AAA. He's been horrible.
Well, but I could have told you that from the beginning. I remember because he had the low ERA. Shelby Miller had that low ERA, but I remember reading a lot about him because I was like, oh, maybe the Dodgers would be interested in getting someone like that, But if they said, well, if the Braves scored 1 run, he'd give up 2. They scored 2 runs, he'd give up 3. They scored no runs, he'd give up 1. But if they scored 5 runs, he'd give up 6. So he really, yes, his ERA was low, but it still was not. It was very deceiving. Much like when J.P. Howell had that low ERA a couple years ago. But if you looked at his hold stats, they were awful. Yeah, he had a 1 ERA.
Right.
It was one of those kind of situations where. He just...
Well, that's a little apples and oranges because one guy's a reliever and one guy's a starter. So, it's like we talk about all the time how we don't look at ERAs for relievers.
No,
right?
but Miller's whip was high when he came over. And I was like, to give up that shortstop.
Swanson,
that was... I couldn't
the number
believe
1
that.
overall pick last year or the year before?
Year before, and it looks like he's going to be a stud. I believe he is kind of destroying the competition right now. So I think that one's going to... It's like the Padres the year before, getting Shields and... Kemp and didn't really go anywhere for
now
them.
they're just in full-fledged seller mode, and they're just replenishing their farm system with the Boston Red Sox farm system.
Thank God the Dodgers are in the NL West, where all the other teams are figuring it out. Because any other division, we would be screwed.
Yeah, and thank God for the Giants. Even though they are in first, there's a chink in their armor. This year with that bullpen, they lead the league in blown saves.
Yeah, and that's so unlike them.
Exactly.
Yeah, Sergio Ramos is usually lights out, dominant. Whenever the Dodgers face him, I always cringe. He seems to be a Dodger killer along with the Diamondbacks, I guess.
Yesterday they lost on a walk-off balk.
Yeah.
Did you see that? Casilla stumbled.
Yeah. But he loaded the bases prior to that anyway. Didn't they have the bases loaded and no outs, I think, last night? So and Casilla is, like I told you before, I have a lot of family that lives up north, so they're all Giants fans, and they can't stand Casilla. They're like, oh yeah, he was like Pedro Baez. He'll come in and get he'll get everybody out 9 pitches, or he'll come in and give up 3 runs. It's just kind of the
Pedro's
way it
been a frequent whipping boy on this show, but he's actually been pitching better lately.
That's because they have not used him in any high leverage situation.
That's the key, Dave.
Yeah.
That's the key, Dave Roberts. That is the key. Save the high leverage for
right now. Liberatore.
Blanton, and maybe Coleman. Those are the guys that are pitching well, but like we say, it's cyclical. Yeah. Some guys will be going bad, and then other guys will turn it around and go good. So you just got to have your finger on that pulse.
Yeah, Fiend's struggling right now. So we'll see. Like you said, hopefully it'll come back around. And what you don't want is everyone being bad at once.
Right. That's the key. You got to have at least 50% of that bullpen being effective.
Which seems to happen to the Dodgers more often than not.
Yes. Yeah, it seems when the bullpen's bad, they're bad.
Right. So again, another game got away from Saturday night. Well, that was the game that got away from him in this one, but not to be overshadowed, was a terrific stop by Brandon McCarthy.
Amazing. Just he looked great. He really did. He looks. I guess he's fully healthy now. He's
fully healthy. Looks like a guy who wasn't even injured. Looks like full health and just pitching like he was before he got hurt.
Yep. 6 innings pitched, 3 hits, no walks, 8 Ks.
Yeah,
those are the kind of numbers we want to see. No walks, especially. His command is on control, pinpoint. Love it. Yep. Love it.
It's interesting. They are being smart though about him coming back from Tommy John, because I don't think he was even at 80 pitches, and they held him to the 6th inning.
Well,
6 innings.
You got to be too many guys throw out their arms again. That's the problem you have. It's. When you rush them back, because I always say that about, we don't know what's happening with Ethier right now. I bring up Ethier because it's a similar situation. they want him to start hitting, but his leg's not healed yet. Yet they want him to like start getting in there, and it's like, well, he's not healed. So
You know why that is?
yeah, because they bring up guys like Tolles and Walters and
Well, they want to see if Ethier's going to be somebody that actually plays this year
Yeah.
before the deadline happens. Because other than that,
I think we may have seen the last of Andre Ethier in a Dodger uniform. I hope not, but it makes me sad because he was one of the original kids that Vince Scully used to affectionately call him. He came up with James Loney, Wilson Martin, Matt Kemp, and he's the last of the guys to go when he goes. And it's going to be a bittersweet day because he gave us a lot of good years, a lot of great years.
and a lot of clutch hitting.
A lot of clutch hitting. A lot of clutch hitting.
You know, he
3
was-
years ago, he was on fire.
But even a couple years ago in the playoffs, he had some nice at bats, and he is the one guy who I didn't mind up there in a high leverage situation because he would take pitches, he would wait for a pitch to hit. You know, he very rarely struck out in those situations. You know, that's because the Dodgers right now, do they really have a guy like that?
You pressed to think about it. Like you gotta.
well, now I think that, now that the veterans have come around and they're starting to hit better these past month, like the Kendricks and the Gonzalez's and the Turners, I like those guys in high leverage situations. I mean,
Justin Turner hitting a home run again this weekend. I mean, he's back.
Yeah, he's looked good. He's looked really good. I was listening.
the break didn't hurt him at all. Thank God.
Well, I was listening to the sports talk about him, and they said the trouble with Turner was even though he came back, he wasn't healthy.
Yeah, that was it.
And it just took him so long to make sure that knee was right, and now that's why you're seeing him be Turner again.
Right.
It's because that knee now is finally. They kind of rushed. They think the argument was they rushed him back.
Right.
Before he was really ready to go, and now this is like no. Now he's healthy. The knee's good. That's why he's kind of hitting again.
Yeah.
And that makes me wonder about Trace Thompson. Now that he's on the deal with his back injury.
Right.
Was he hurting? He was, he's kind of in a slump going into the All-Star break. Was the back bothering him before? We're just now finding this out.
I mean, could be. You're a young guy getting an opportunity. You probably don't really pipe up about back. You just try and play through it.
Didn't he miss a couple games too, where he did complain about his back? They benched him for a couple games, not because he was hitting bad, but because he was complaining.
Discomfort?
Yeah, he had discomfort in his back. Yeah, he was unavailable for a couple games. They didn't. They just thought, oh, he just needs like a couple days off and he'll be fine.
Right.
And yeah, I think it's got to be. It must have been a prior issue. Like you could see it with Kershaw in that start when he got hurt against the Pirates. When his ball wasn't moving and he wasn't following through, you could see that. Oh man, there's
was off.
Yeah, there's
You
a
could
problem
see it.
here. Yeah, I think it's a similar with Trace, where it looked like there was kind of a little bit of a problem.
Like a little hitch in a swing, just like his little discomfort. Yeah, you could see that. But this going on the deal is a good thing for him. Let him heal up, get better, and we're going to need him back at full strength. So
Plus, we get to see a little Andrew Tolles, his little speedster out there.
Who was a big prospect for Tampa Bay at one point, and then he had off the field issues, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, I can't speak to much of his career other than the fact that I heard that this time last year he was bagging groceries. So,
But
the Kurt Warner story. The old,
I do believe Friedman drafted him though.
yeah, so he knew about him.
Yeah.
That's the. I mean, in that connection, that Friedman with the Tampa Bay connection. I mean,
it's going strong with the Dodgers.
yeah, and are we going to see something here at the deadline? Because reports are that there were Dodger scouts checking Chris Archer out in his start Friday night.
Archer and Matt Moore and Odorizzi. I cannot say that guy's name.
All three of those guys. They're probably really looking to move Odorizzi and Moore. Archer's going to take a lot to pry away from them, I think.
Yeah,
even with his
a lot.
Yeah, even with his down season, he's at 4 ERA this year, I think.
Yeah, he's having a down season, but you look at his K per 9, which is still pretty solid, and he's such a young guy and has such great makeup. It's like you got to think this losing season is a blip on the radar,
And especially if he goes to Dodger Stadium, where he's going to be Pitchers Park, and
I'm just saying, brace yourself because that'll cost a pretty penny in this market we're at right now.
Didn't you hear the Dodgers have unlimited pockets? Yeah. At least they've been spending like that.
Oh yeah, the money's fine. They have a limited pocket, but like they do have one of the better minor league systems.
Yes.
And so they have the bullets to make it happen, but will they? Because that'll severely deplete it.
Yeah, and this management, I can't see letting go of too many young assets to grab somebody.
Right, because they're still new. They want to just kind of get those young guys up. But
it's really as we've seen with what the Padres did the year before, what the Diamondbacks did this past year. Just bringing in guys doesn't work. You need to build through the farm system.
You have to.
You know.
Yeah, you would think that lesson would have been learned already by this point. There's been plenty of teams like the, 80s Yankees that you used to do that stuff. Try and build super teams, and it just didn't work. But
no, you gotta build through the draft. It's the only way. It's a sustained success.
yeah,
After the McCourt era, we had no farm system, and all of a sudden we had this plethora of prospects. It was like, oh my God, finally, this is great.
yeah. Well, because just look back to the deadline last year, and in order to bring in somebody that could really make a difference in the stretch run, there were two names mentioned: Urias and Seager.
Yeah.
And we obviously see what Seager can do. He made his first All-Star game. The kid's a stud, and probably the best shortstop in the National League. And then Urias, even though the numbers didn't light you on fire, you could see that this kid belongs at this level, in his small time up here. And we do think that perhaps he can be a piece going forward in the pen this season, and then obviously in the rotation moving forward in years to come. But what do you think? Before we go any further, why don't you guys tell the folks that are listening and not watching what you guys' Twitter handles are? Because
Well, I think like last time, if I had a Twitter account, I probably would give it out right now.
any social media you might have.
You can find me at Huntsman. My Instagram, HUNTSSMAN, and please don't do anything mean because I probably won't respond. Just kidding.
And I am at Gersh GERSH 13 at Instagram and Twitter. So.
Can anybody tell me and I still am not on social media. Sorry. Hey, we're not signing off. Sorry, guys. That would have been a little premature. Just wanted to tell those guys because in case anybody wants to, tweet into old Josh during this program, steer the conversation where you want it steered. But I will ask you this, folks. You know what happened? This goes to you guys, too, if you can answer it right away. What happened 75 years ago today in the baseball world?
70, what is this? This is 2016. The Dodgers,
Nice job. 2006. That's it, Josh.
The Dodgers moved to LA.
No, that would be a little early, didn't they? Didn't happen.
Oh, it was 59, not 49.
50,
Yeah, it was 59, not
50s.
49.
Could we get a hint, Alex?
Let's just chew on it for a while, okay? And then we'll come to it towards the end of the show. But we did mention Mr. Seager. And he was in the All-Star game and made a good showing for a rookie in the Derby, hitting 15 home runs in that first round.
Good showing. Nobody was going to catch Stanton on that. That guy, 600 home runs is unbelievable. So 15 home runs, Corey, pat in the back, buddy. Way to represent.
Absolutely.
Do you think there's anything to he's going to ruin his swing in the...
I
Home run derby.
I always get paranoid in that on my fantasy team. I try and unload my home run derby guys, but it's really there's just like two examples, like Cano one year, and then there's another example that they just keep hopping back to the same two examples. So I don't really see it as a big phenomenon, but I think it kind of hurt Frazier a little bit last year in the second half, and after he won it. So I think like if you. I don't think it's going to hurt Seager because he just was one round and then he was done.
Well, I also think that if you're a pure hitter, it shouldn't affect you in any way.
I think it's hogwash. Sorry to interrupt you. I just don't believe it at all. I don't think it affects your swing at all. For a professional hitter, like just a home run derby is for the fans, for the shows. You're trying to hit a home run.
Yeah.
In BP before games when you're practicing, like you're just trying to get your swing down. I think there's two complete polar opposites.
Yeah.
And if Frazier not hitting in the second half was just him not hitting.
Well, I think that. You kind of touch on it though, like if a guy has one swing and then he goes and does a different swing because he's trying to hit home runs, I think that's a lot of what the people are pointing to because it's kind of tough to get back to your old swing. I mean, I don't know if that's really the case. I mean, not with the natural Corey Seager.
No, but I agree with him. I agree with Hunter. If you're a hitter, you're a hitter. It shouldn't matter.
You're in the majors for a reason.
Yeah, it shouldn't matter.
Yeah. So just kind of, we touched upon Ethier, just kind of a little injury update. We're not holding out hope for Ethier, but, I would like to see him in a Dodger uniform
I'd love
again.
to see him back, too. I don't think it's going to happen. Sorry, Andre. But...
Yeah. So, I mean, maybe there is talk of the Dodgers kind of scouting some guys, potentially some outfield help. Heard they were looking at Jay Bruce. I think you told me Cargo.
Yeah, and Cargo, this is a terrible idea. I was looking up stats on Cargo. Away from Coors Field, his last 600 plate appearances, 237.
Wow.
So he is a course field hitter.
Right.
So he would be a terrible addition.
He's also a lot of money. And is he under contract for next year as well?
He's for the next 2 years, actually.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I'd like to see Jay Bruce in a Dodger uniform. Nice, short, compact swing with a power hitter. His average is a little bit low on the downside, but he'll bring a nice needed punch to the lineup.
Yeah. He made the All-Star team, right?
Yeah, he has 20-something home runs right
Yeah,
now. On a really bad team, too.
Yeah.
So.
That's kind of a hitter's park, though. I mean, the ball flies out of that place. So we'll see. You know, it's funny if they do make a trade for an outfielder and then all the outfielders get healthy. You know, it's going to be like...
That's a good problem to have.
It is. I mean, that could put somebody down in the minors. It's like a Trace Thompson, maybe, that, you know.
Say hi to Carl.
Did anyone pick him up? Just I have no idea.
No.
No one's picking up.
No. But so he's still getting checks. Still catching
Don't feel
checks.
too bad for him.
You know, I could swear even like up to 4 years ago that somehow Marquise Grissom was still getting paid by the Dodgers.
Probably.
Like it was like a Bobby Bonilla kind of deal where they stretched it out so long that he was still getting paid.
Yeah. I'm working on a similar deal with AfterBuzz as we speak. You know, just gonna sign that like 50-year deal.
Yeah, I want that agent.
Right?
Because this is off topic, but do they still get their pension if they're still getting $1 million a year from salary?
I would say yes. Or maybe it doesn't kick in until the end.
Like I have no idea. I was just curious.
That's a good question. You guys tweet Josh with that answer. You know, hit him up with that at Girth13. But so just on the injury front, we got good news this week. Clayton Kershaw, the stud that he is, threw a 60-pitch bullpen session or simulated game this past Saturday, and looked good.
Yeah, so
Healthy. There's rumors that he could be maybe in St. Louis at the weekend, and I think what they should do, be smart, leave him home.
wait till they come back
Wait till
against
the homestand.
was it Tampa Bay? You get Tampa Bay for those 2 games.
Yes, I think it is Tampa. So that's what they should do. We'll see. But you know, Kersh, he's going to be chomping at the bit to take the ball.
We discussed this last time. This starting rotation is taking shape. With McCarthy pitching well, Kershaw coming back, Dodgers are poised for a run.
Yeah,
They're poised for a second half run.
It would be nice to see maybe a nice start at Ryu. Is he coming up soon? And then funny thing, and this is a kind of a forgotten man to a certain point. Brett Anderson threw a bullpen the other day, and Dave Roberts said his stuff looked electric. Now,
For a BP session.
now I'm trying not to get too excited. I believe that the skip is a little prone to hyperbole at times, but nevertheless, it'd be nice to have a healthy Brett Anderson.
It'd be great to have him back and maybe possibly in the pen coming out. A good way to start him in. I'd like to see him get some innings in there.
Here's a question
Especially
for you.
with being a lefty.
Yes.
Having another
Yes.
left-handed arm out of there.
Here's a question for you.
Libertor, Anderson, Libertor, Kenley. Oh my God. That'd be great. Sorry, wishful thinking here.
Hey, don't forget old Joe Bland. He's been good.
Actually, Bland's been so much better, really, than I thought he would ever be for the Dodgers.
Right?
He really has.
And I had to convince you early in the year.
did.
You were looking at me like,
Because I honestly thought he was through. I thought he
Well,
was.
his past history,
Yeah.
indicating it was done. But
It's funny that you bring that up because actually in Oral touched upon it, I think, in yesterday's telecast, but of how good a job the Dodgers have done with these reclamation projects pitching-wise.
Yes.
Blanton was a
Yes.
guy that was, like you say, he was pretty much done out of baseball. Same thing with, like, Kazmir, Anderson, McCarthy, So, like, it just to get anything. And that's really what you got to do, especially with the astronomical numbers starting pitching is making this year. You got to have your scouting staff, like, on the pulse of those guys that might have a little something left that people aren't believing in.
Well, absolutely. Tip of the hat to the Dodgers scouting. I think Gabe Kapler's running that. He's done a really good job of finding people and kind of bringing these guys up.
Former Red Sox, Gabe Kapler, LA boy.
Well, look at Bud Norris. I mean, they didn't really give up anything for him. And Norris is a solid starter.
He is.
I mean, that's it is. I think it is great that Kapler. Because I never wanted him to manage.
Yeah,
when that thing came up, I did not want him as a manager. So I was glad that he stayed on as the head of scouting. Because you never know how these guys are going to manage. I mean, it didn't work in Miami. Remember they let
The GM.
Yeah, well, the GM was like managing the team. Like, just random stuff like that just doesn't work. It's not little big league. You can't just start throwing people in there.
But Gabe Kapler played in the majors, right? I mean,
but he's never managed at any level.
He didn't manage in Linus?
Neither did Dave Roberts, and that was always a concern, which we talked about before, of guys who haven't had managerial experience. But again, that we go back to Girardi and Matheny, who didn't seem to have any managerial experience either, and they're doing fine.
Well, Girardi was with
a bench
Florida
coach
before, wasn't he? Wasn't he the manager at Florida?
I think he was a bench coach for the Yankees. I think the Yankees were his first head managing job, but fact check.
We'll fact check that. I think it's coming in from our research department. Yeah, Mike's right, is what they're saying. All right, good. It's funny how that answer comes back every time, the same way. Oh, yeah.
Okay, we'll go with Matheny then.
There you go. So that's great to hear that about Brett Anderson, and so here's something I want to throw out to you, okay? What do you think about, and this, it may not be possible roster-wise, but where, you look at a guy like Kenta Maeda, who's used to, back in Japan, throwing on once a week, right? So, we've seen in the start today and a few other starts that maybe he could get back on that cycle of pitching once a week. What if they kept Kershaw on his usual 5 days, and then had kind of a hybrid 6-man rotation where the other 5 filled in the other 4 spots?
I'm not thrilled about that.
Not thrilled about it.
Not thrilled, to be honest.
Not worth the roster spot?
It's not. He's in the majors now, and I understand that's what they did in the Japanese leagues, but if he wants to be a Major League Baseball pitcher in the majors, he needs to get on the schedule and get used to that every 5-day rotation. This is his first season.
What if he burns himself out?
Well, if that's a tough.
We're gonna need him. We're gonna need him to slot in there behind Kershaw, and hopefully knock wood playoff series.
Something to consider, though, possibly. If he's still doing these Mr. Jekyll, Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde impersonations, then.
Joshua, do you want to shoot it down as immediately as Hunter did?
I might be open to it, but I wouldn't do it right now. I would actually wait and see if somebody starts to struggle. I kind of agree. I think you wait till someone struggles.
Yeah.
And then you throw in the other guy.
Right.
If someone starts to struggle a little bit. Because I remember a couple years ago when they had Ricky Nolasco, who for a stretch pitched amazing, and then come the end of the year towards the playoffs was terrible. Right. Terrible.
Nightmares.
Yeah. And so, you kind of... That's what Brett Anderson. I said it last year before we pitched that game against the Mets. Anderson should not pitch. And everyone's like, why? I'm like, because his last 3 starts were awful. And he's never pitched this much in 4 years.
Right.
He has not pitched this many innings. He's through.
Right.
He cannot pitch anymore. And sure enough, he got hammered in that game. And I'm like, it's just things like that where since it's happened before, I'd like to wait and see if someone kind of burns out before they throw in another man in the rotation.
Yeah. I think the idea I'm having is so nobody burns out.
I think someone still will.
Yeah, they will. You're right. Okay, all right. We should have let off the show with this guy's entrance music because of his monster game Friday night. But how about Chris Taylor almost hitting for the cycle? Wow.
He was the single short, right?
Single short. Isn't that crazy?
6.
And his last at bat, he tried to bunt it.
Yeah.
I love the moxie of trying that. He said after the game that he felt comfortable. He's done that in situations before where he felt comfortable getting it down and trying it out. And I applaud the guy. He was on fire, so however he's feeling, whatever groove he's in, go with it.
Yeah, and it took a great play by Coleman to get it. It was. I know he wanted that to be over a little bit left, the angle of his bat, but it took a great play by Coleman to get it.
What an entrance for your first home run, a grand slam, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
Right. First major league home run, grand slam. That is crazy. And it wasn't a cheapie. That was a bomb.
Yeah, he's been solid though for the Dodgers.
He has been solid.
You didn't really think much about him when the Dodgers got him with a trade with the Indians back in April, I want to say.
Baroness, June.
Okay. But, he was kind of like a no-name trade thrown in for cash, which is one of those trades you never really think much about.
Yeah. It was for Zach Lee, but, and at first, at the time, I didn't think much of the trade. I didn't know much about Taylor, but, I was thinking, hey, we were kind of depleted starting pitching wise, and I was like, wow, we're going to trade away a starting pitcher at this juncture? But it's turned out he's been great.
Well, the trouble is I don't think Zach Lee can pitch at the major league level.
He wasn't penning out. He was a first-round pick the Dodgers used a couple of years ago, and he seemed to have got to AAA, and just wasn't dominant. It wasn't what a first-round pitcher should be, and so moving on.
I see.
As is baseball.
But you gotta love Taylor. I mean, he it gives the the Dodgers a under 50 option at second base now.
Well,
it's pretty impressive.
It reminds me of how they picked up Justin Turner.
Just kidding, Howie. I know you're only like 32, 33. Sorry.
Justin Turner was kind of a throw-in.
The Mets.
Yeah, we'll just pick. We need a utility guy. Let's just pick up Justin Turner. And all of a sudden he turns out to be their number 3 hitter. I mean,
Right.
the scouting department has been doing an amazing job. So,
Yeah, the first trade that Friedman made as the GM of the Dodgers?
I don't remember.
Adam Libator. Pluck. Boom. Off Tampa. You got to love it. And that's finally paying dividends. It's good to see.
I think the Dodgers are the 2008 Tampa Bay Devil Rays in disguise.
All right. Well, we talked about maybe Urias playing that David Price role from that LA team later in the season where he comes up and just throwing BBs and nobody's really seen him outside of 4 teams.
Yeah.
It's pretty effective. So
Well,
what I'm excited about seeing.
Me too. It'd be curious to see, if they do go with him out of the pen.
Yeah.
To be, not a lot of book on him. He can hit, 97? Does he hit? He hits pretty high on the gun.
But yeah, he's in the 95, 96 range.
Yeah.
And it's just the command. Once we get that control down, that'll be key.
Oh, yeah.
I believe he has 29 scoreless innings now in AAA. Is that right? Somewhere in that range.
Yeah.
Oh, did he resume that streak?
Yeah, because he's coming out of the pen, so he hasn't given up a run.
Oh, that's crazy. That's crazy.
It's like one of those random stats they have at Dodger Stadium on the board. Like
Yeah.
the most obscure stat. This guy has 4 walks for every 20 at bats.
So the other night when he didn't quite hit the cycle, 6 RBIs out of a second baseman. First time that's happened for the Dodgers since...
Steve Sachs.
I was thinking it was going to be Steve Sachs. Goes all the way back to Jackie, baby.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So that's impressive. He's doing stuff that only Jackie's done. It's pretty crazy. He's also became the first Los Angeles Dodger to hit a grand slam on his first Major League home run.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I still remember I saw Jose Offerman hit his first ever home run many years ago.
And I saw Ray Quinones hit his first.
It was his first at bat. It was his first major league hit. Was the home run.
All right.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's impressive. It's impressive.
Shout out to Jose Offerman.
Jose. Remember the time he went after that guy with the bat? When he was with the Bridgeport Bluefish?
He was at my next door neighbor's bar mitzvah.
No way. Did you bring that up to
Did you
him?
talk about it? Yeah. So what were you feeling? What were your emotions while I was angry?
He didn't speak a lot of English.
No, huh?
No.
Old Jose. Gotta love him. Gotta love him. So, looking forward, off day tomorrow, travel day. Well, they'll travel tonight and have an off day in D.C. tomorrow, but it doesn't get easier for the Dodgers. So they'll have 3 with Washington, and then they go to St. Louis to finish with 3 on the weekend with St. Louis.
So, I mean, to me, you're hoping for a split.
Yeah, the best
Yeah.
option. Play hard. Hopefully, just eke a couple games out, wins on the road, and get back home.
Yeah.
Just get back home healthy and intact.
I hear you. The good news is the Giants are on a tough stretch right now. So this is a good time to potentially make up some ground. I heard that something like 38 of their next 44 games or something are versus teams 500 or better. So this would be a nice stretch to make a dent in that lead.
It would. And, I mean, look, the Dodgers lost 2 out of 3 and gained a game on them this weekend. So
Right.
That's not too bad.
Thanks to those pods. Way to go, Friars, sweeping the Giants. That's good to see. The Giants are probably going to try and make a run at some of those Yankee guys. You got to think to shore up the back end of their bullpen. Chapman.
Do you hate the idea of Beltran on the Dodgers?
Yes.
You do?
No, I don't. He's having a good season. Sorry, that was a little premature.
He is, and
He's having a really great season.
He's got the track record to hit in the playoffs. Remember that one year with Houston when he went off?
Yeah, and he went off. He went off with somebody else too, I believe.
Yeah, the Mets maybe.
Yeah.
It was the Carlos Gonzalez rumor. I'd heard some
Yeah,
rumors with him. That I would not like,
No,
especially if he said prior history with Adrian Gonzalez. I'm not getting along. I know ball players can put that behind them and play together, but not thrilled about that.
But Beltran, I don't hate the idea of Beltran.
Right.
Because he's only under contract for this season.
Right.
So
How old is he?
He's just a rent-a-player.
Yeah.
He's
Late 30s.
30. He's
38.
getting up there.
Yeah.
Still
Probably.
can swing it.
He can. He made the All-Star team. So it's
I know he's going to be a name out there. I mean, if you want Andrew Miller in that deal, you're going to have to give up more. But,
Huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, I mean, as far as outfield bats, I don't hate the idea of Beltran coming
Yeah, I
over.
don't hate it either. I think I'm all about having savvy veterans in the clubhouse, making it better for such a young team like this.
Especially a guy with playoff experience like
Yes,
him.
absolutely.
One of our viewers was asking on the YouTube comments, where feel free to comment on there, guys. Let us know if Hunter's doing a great job on his second show. And, let me know if I'm still horrible, and give Josh some props. And you listen to us on iTunes, rate us on there too. But one guy, Benny Frickin' Jam, was asking us what it would take to get. Give up Yasiel Puig.
A lot.
You think?
It would take a lot. He's
Andrew
still,
Miller for Yasiel Puig, straight up?
I mean, that's something to think about. I don't think the Yankees would do that straight up.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think the Yankees would do it.
He's still a 5-tool player. The concern with Puig is you hear so much about this raw talent he has. This is his 4th or 5th season in the majors now.
When are those tools going to come out of the box?
Exactly. That's the thing. Like, you can only say a player has raw talent so many times. Like, you gotta start seeing him hone in on it now.
Yeah.
And that's just the problem.
As Baez has always been a whipping boy of mine, that's what you keep hearing about Baez. Oh, he's got good stuff. He's got this
He
and that.
throws hard. But
Well, I haven't seen anything from him yet. I see him throw a fastball where either it's moving and he strikes guys out, or it's not moving and he gives up 3 runs.
Right.
Like he's been that way for 3 years now.
Yeah.
It's like at some point, is he really going to bring this together?
His last 3 or 4 appearances, though, he's been not so much in the middle of the
trade
plate.
bait. Good.
Yeah.
I mean, it is a thin market. Well, they could move. Maybe they could move some outs.
Me and my buddies love discussing the idea only because they have the worst minor league system in baseball, the Angels. What would it take? What would you give up to get Trout?
Oh boy. I mean, you'd have to mortgage the farm and probably put some major leagues in there.
I don't know if you have to mortgage. What if you agreed to take on the Pujols contract in the deal?
Ooh.
What if you
That
agreed?
10-year, $300 million
Yeah.
contract. What's left on that?
Yeah, right?
But what if you agreed to take that back in return?
Yeah, take that back and take Josh Hamilton back, too.
No, but if you really think about that, like the Dodgers actually have enough to do that deal, especially if they took the
Do we
money.
want to, though?
That's the question.
Do we
I mean,
want to?
because I would not give up both Urias and De Leon. I would give up one of them. I would give up De Leon and Montez. I would give up Urias and Montez. But I would not give up both those guys.
Yeah.
That would be the only deal breaker for me. I would not give you both. I would give you one, but I would not give you
This
both.
is Mike Trout.
I know it is. He's the Babe Ruth of this era. So
I mean, it's-
The guy's 24 years old.
Yeah.
23, 24. He's already been the best player in baseball the
he's
last
like
2 years.
closing in on 1,000 hits. He's
I know
not even 25.
It's ridiculous. And his contract in today's day and age is friendly.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
You know, so
But going back to the Puig trade that you asked earlier,
yeah.
I think it would have to be some sort of package deal. I don't see them doing a straight up. I could see that happening potentially depending on the person, but definitely not Andrew Miller. But I'd like to see if we're going to trade Puig, I'd like to either see money coming in or like a superstar or a package deal.
All right.
But straight up, I don't think that'd be enough on the table for him.
I agree with you. I don't think the Yankees would make that deal.
No, they wouldn't.
Yeah.
I don't think they would.
Not with Puig playing the way he is now, but I think they're silly if the Yankees trade Miller. They're silly. So anyway, 75 years ago today. Did you guys think about it?
Actually, no.
That's
not at all.
it puts the year at 1941, 75 years ago.
Okay, brand tricky years.
41.
Thinking about this. In Brooklyn.
But didn't Robinson come up in 42?
Yeah, so it's not
So
Robinson.
it's not Jackie Robinson.
Is
It was just not Dodger baseball in general.
Oh,
sorry.
Okay.
But I'll just let you know. I'll let you off the hook. Joe DiMaggio's hit streak ended today, 75 years ago today.
Was that 56?
Yeah, that was 41. That was one of the 2 MVPs he shouldn't have won over Ted Williams. 41 and 47.
Is that a record that will never be broken?
But who won the World Series in those years?
Yeah. And that's exactly, like, you look at, especially in 47, Williams wins the Triple Crown. You look at his stats compared to DiMaggio's ridiculous, so obviously the Yankees must have won
Yeah.
No.
for him to get it.
Is that
Pretty sad.
56-game hitting streak a record that'll go untouched?
I think someone's going to break it at some point.
breakable.
Me too. Everybody likes to say that it's not, but
I think it is.
I remember Paul, as a kid, Paul Molitor got up to 40-something
Yeah, he did.
one year,
He did.
right? He got up in the 40s, and it's just a lot of luck.
It is.
You know, there's so much luck involved in something like that.
Yeah.
It really is. It's not just talent. There is a lot of...
Staying healthy.
Yeah.
and you think about it too. Like it got snapped today, and then he did another 16-game hit streak after that to DiMaggio. So we're gonna get out of here, guys. Do you want to say anything else before we take off?
Go Dodgers.
My sentiments exactly.
There you go. Hey, gang, thanks a lot. For Hunter and Josh, I'm Mike. Thanks for tuning in for another edition of Dodgers Wrap 360. Go Dodgers.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.